what is going on in Pittsburgh? You know, and you got to, at this time of year, be very careful what you're reading and blogging and live blogging of practices. But for all accounts, nobody's lighting things up, or Mason Rudolph has the lead based on the play that we've seen or reporters are talking about in practice. What did you glean from Pittsburgh?
If the Steelers had to play a game tomorrow, it's a pretty good bet Mitch Trubisky would be the starting quarterback. But they don't play a game tomorrow, and they're going to take their time sorting this thing out. You very rarely have a true three-way quarterback battle, but from everyone I spoke to when I was in Pittsburgh, it sounds like that's legitimately how they're approaching it. Mitch Trubisky got all the first-team reps through the first week of camp. Yesterday, Trubisky and Mason Rudolph split the first-team reps. I was told that was a pre-planned rotation. They've also been moving Kenny Pickett around. He was with the third team initially. Then they moved him up to the second team where he played better, which makes sense because he didn't have as much pressure on him, even in the no-hitting the quarterback setting of training camp. But I caught up with Mike Tomlin when he was coming off our NFL Network set, and I just asked him, are you going to have to give each of these guys a preseason start? And what he said was, I don't care about when they play. I just care about them being able to function no matter what's going on around them. In other words, they're going to mix it up. They're going to look at everybody with the first team and the second team and the third team. Right now, Deontay Johnson just signed his contract, so he'll be back in practice. But Chase Claypool's been out, and Pat Fryermuth has been out. Najee Harris has been banged up of late. So, there's been a lot of challenges for those quarterbacks. Has anyone stepped forward and grabbed the job yet? No, but it's early in camp, and the Mason Rudolph thing is real. He has flashed in camp. He's had a solid camp. They've obviously got the most book on him in terms of what he is as a quarterback, but let's see how this thing evolves. It's going to be one of the fun on-the-field storylines through the course of the preseason.
And then now you're in Philadelphia. What's the story there for this Philadelphia Eagles team that has Jalen Hurts at the controls for a full season now for a second season, a run game that now could be supported by an aerial attack featuring A.J. Brown? Is that it? Is that the story, or is it on defense? What do you got for me, Tom?
That's a huge part of it, is bringing in A.J. Brown. I mean, A.J. Brown, I don't have many favorites in the league, but as a guy and a player, I love everything about A.J. Brown. He came on with me and Sean O'Hara for NFL Network after practice. Jalen Hurts crashed the interview, so we talked to the two of them together. They're buddies. They've known each other a long time, and those two plus Devontae Smith spent a bunch of time together between mini camp and training camp, working out together. AJ posted some photos of them like running hills in the rain and stuff like that. Like, they're all tight, so you've got some just natural chemistry there. But then watching, AJ Brown duking it out with Darius Slay in one-on-ones in practice, they've got some star power on this team. They've got some really talented players. You're hoping that some of the the older veterans, the Jason Kelce's and the Fletcher Coxes, can give you one more run here. That's why they're taking their shot. I would also say that they're cautious about people pumping them up as one of the favorites at this point. I don't think that nationally that's how they're perceived, but anytime you have a first-year head coach who, finishes hot and makes the playoffs like Nick Sirianni did, there's always that danger that then if you don't start hot again the following season, it's, well, what's wrong? Especially when they went out, and got Brown and they got James Bradbury. They've really added a lot of talent, and they also added, I'm not kidding you, Rich, in all my time covering the NFL, I can name on one hand the number of humans I've seen bigger than Jordan Davis, their first-round pick out of Georgia. He was standing next to Fletcher Cox, and Fletcher Cox looks small. Fletcher Cox is one of the biggest humans I've ever seen in the league, too. So it'll be fascinating to see a guy that athletic and that big, what he can do as a rookie.